There it is. All right, we're live. I'd like to welcome everybody back for another design stream, spoiler stream. We're kind of changing the name of it slightly as we ease in and get kind of get the cards released. Tonight we got AJ back again. How many have you done at this point,
Ooh.
AJ?
This is number 3.
This is number 3 for you. Jeez.
Yeah, because I did what? We started with water, dark, and now light.
Yes. Nice.
Rookie numbers.
Jalen
Gotta
says-
get them numbers up.
Jalen's been here to view all of them.
I viewed all of them.
He's always been in here asking questions and whatever. No, the one night
Well-
you went and visited your godson.
I still had the stream up.
Oh, well, I guess I missed that. I just can't tell you're here if you're not like busy, talking trash and making me feel bad, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
we're gonna jump in. We're gonna do the light cards tonight. We did a poll like last week to see what everybody wanted to see next, and like all the votes were for dark and then light, and literally 0 people voted air at all. So we're just gonna end up doing air last, I guess. But we're gonna see. We're gonna do the pattern tonight. We're gonna start with the shrine. I think this is a good place to start and like kind of let everybody see some of the basic strategies or whatever. Look at the essences and then go through and do all the cards. So right off the rip, we got Hollowed Ground. This is your epic structure / shrine, however you want to think about it. Text on it says, first time a light item or light structure. That's new for those of us who have been with me for a real long time. Enters your combat zone. Each turn, heal 1 damage from this card with 25 HP. Insane. Insanely high.
It is. It's one of the highest. I think tied for the highest, right? In first set.
It is the highest in the first set. Actually.
Is there another one with 25?
No. There's not another one with 25 anywhere, to be honest.
Ah, maybe.
Jalen's in chat right now just says fat 25.
I mean, right off the rip, you can tell we're about to play some structures.
Yeah.
The first real color that we see, like actually wanting to play structures right off the bat here.
Yeah.
Because if you've had 1 or 2 structures here, but we're gonna lean into it heavy here in light.
Light's got a lot of them. It really comes to a head as you go forward in some of the future sets to come. But there are a handful in this set, and just like this ability on this card is not.
Oh, Ken, your sworn enemies don't have permissions to see stream.
Okay, give me a second. For right now.
This TDMCP is trying to get in here and he can't see.
Yeah, I just asked him to join the general voice chat. I'll slide him down for now, and then we'll figure that out later. But yeah, the ability on this shrine, not insane. Heal 1, like it matters. It definitely can help you like keep pace and just a little bit of like chip, anti-chip damage, if you will, as the game goes on. But basically, it's just fat. It's just a bunch of HP. Basically drag the game out. You're usually going to be playing a slightly more grinding strategy with this, and just that's kind of, as we look at the light cards, we're obviously going to see that one of their main things is focusing on HP, right? And this shrine kind of like does that in a very very obvious way. It's
tanky.
Fat. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
Fat.
We're some tanky boys.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so obviously you want to try to keep the shrine kind of in mind when you're looking at the light cards, because it is all a matter of perspective, right? So if you're going to be building a light deck, like at least in the base set, this is the shrine you're likely to be using. So you kind of get that perspective as you're going forward.
Yep.
Go ahead and pull up. Let's see where my essence is.
Let's take a look at these essences that give us more tank.
Yeah. So yeah, with same thing we did with all the other ones. Light essences are no different. You've got the basic essence plus your CCC. All it does is adds a light resource ability in the resource zone. Nothing crazy there. And then the infused essence, this is a 2 CCC. So this again can go on a lot of cards, not everything, but a lot of cards. And in this case, it's adding +1 HP. Not
in the gym, eating all the goodies, been able to take some extra damage and keep going.
Dirty bulking at all times.
Yeah. Constant Doritos and pizza and hitting the gym.
we've had a ton of internal discussions about like, what's the best infused essence. This is something that's come up a bunch of times, and I don't think that there's an answer. I don't think it's like super clean that you can just say it's definitely this one. I think it is like deck dependent, build dependent, what card are you putting it on, whatever. But this is one of my favorites. This is always at the top of my list for discussion because it really can't be understated how relevant it is on certain board states where it's just like, oh, my guy survives that hit now, and you got to do it twice.
Yep.
Like
Oh
that,
yeah.
that happens
Constant.
enough times, and it's just like you get that incremental board presence. I see Baka just joined the stream. I think that he's a pretty big advocate for light. I feel like he's one of the ones that's always in my corner, like cheering on the infused light essence and these types of essences, because that extra HP, like, it goes so far. It really just like
it changes so much combat math and so much removal math that's like, well, yeah, my thing that used to do 2 or 3 damage no longer kills that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
And what ends up happening is, it's my thing that did 2 or 3 damage no longer kills that guy, and then also, okay, my guy lived. He lived by 1 HP because I gave him this infused light essence. It is not super common for you to just have that 1 extra damage laying around, right? So now it's the situation where it's like, oh,
like 2 attacks.
Exactly. Whatever thing I'm doing to kill you, it's like I have to do double now because of that 1 extra HP. It may not be flashy, it may not be a lot of fun, it may not give you the extra power or the speed to like outright win combats, one-shot people, damage on shrine. Like, you're missing all that stuff. You don't get the cool surge. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that you're missing, but it's a workhorse. I really like light essences a lot.
Oh yeah, it's just so hard to push through all of it. Just
Absolutely. Speaking of hard to push through, we're gonna jump into the non-basic essences.
Oh God,
this card.
This one. Oh, there's so many memories, nightmares with this essence.
Yeah, this essence has caused a couple of cards to get nerfed in alpha testing, if we're being honest. like just by itself.
It's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know who's counting anymore.
I don't know if it's quite that high, but yeah. It's
48.
48 maybe. This essence is great. Essence of Fraternity. This is the like super heavy light essence, so to speak. You can see up in the top right corner. It adds a light to the cost of whatever card you're playing. So, it turns your 2-drop into a 3-drop, your 5-drop into a 6-drop, whatever. 4 CCC, so it doesn't go on everything. Gives a max HP, and then also gives Regenerate 2 in the combat zone. I don't know how much we've come across Regenerate as an ability yet. I think we've seen it
once.
I think it was on.
I don't think so.
It's on a fire card, right? Like.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Eternal Flame Soldier. So once, yeah. But Regenerate 2 is at the end of turn. It heals 2 damage counters off of the card, and that just keeps happening every turn. If you don't kill this, whatever this is on, like all in one shot, it's just going to get 2 HP back, and then next round it's going to get 2 more back, and it's a bear. It's really tough to get through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just, I've been in so many situations where this thing just single-handedly wins a board like 3v1.
Yeah.
Just eats everything.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there's a card. I can't think what it is. It's got to be something not in set 1, but I feel like there's a card with Steadfast that this goes on, and you're just like, well, I'm only going to defend when I need to, and if I ever get close to dead, I'll just stop defending, and since I have Steadfast, you can't attack me. And then I'll just regenerate back, and it's like, it just creates these board states where you can just gum the ground, like, so easily.
Yeah, I like to put this on the things I can link to my shrine and just have my shrine regenerate damage constantly.
What do we got next? Essence of Life. Okay, this is your double infused essence, right? Rather than 2 CCs for 1 life, this is 4 CCC for 2 life. Doubles up. I mean, again, it's not flashy, but my God, does it do work?
Yeah, simple enough.
Let's see.
More HP, the better.
Okay. I just clicked the wrong thing. Okay. Yep. So yeah, Essence Life. This one's pretty important. I'll just, as a quick note, any of the essences that are 4 CCC, it's always like this giant hunt to like find what card they're best on, right? Because like these are the high impact essences. So it's like, how do I get?
It's kind of like what you do as soon as you like. Depending on how you deck build, if you pick cards first and then put essences on, or sometimes you're like, all right, I want this essence. Yeah. How many cards in set 1 can I put this on in the colors I'm playing in?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the reverse engineering of a card happens surprisingly often, where it's like, okay, I've got like 40 cards locked into my deck, but I'm not playing any of this essence, or this essence yet. those are all really good. I would really prefer to play those essences just because of how much like raw power they would bring to a deck like mine. And then you start looking for the cards that they go on that like fits best. That happens plenty often.
Constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, this essence is
Yes.
So
oh boy.
we mentioned at the beginning that Light's got sort of a structure and item theme going, and it's a little bit heavier structure than it is item, but they have a handful of both.
Yeah.
This essence, it's a little bit different. The format there is item / structure lock. That should be read as item or structure locked. Basically, you have to appease one of those two characteristics, which means this essence can only go on either an item or a structure, right? It has to be one or the other. But what you get for it, I mean, the like. Just,
this is essence of combat for a structure.
Yeah, it's essence of combat for a structure that doesn't add a fire to the cost, right?
Yep.
And as a 1 CCC, it like literally goes on everything. Is it a top
fiver? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes.
In light decks, I think that this
goes overall 100%. This is top 5 essence.
You really think so?
Yeah. Like, we'll explain more when we get to the cards, but I mean, some cards just becomes
really good with this.
Yeah. I think it's a top 5.
Okay.
This card stonewalls a lot of helps stonewalls a lot of combats.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a top 5er.
I'm trying to imagine what my top 5 are, and I'm immediately like, okay, obviously Wicked Essence, obviously Blinding Essence, and then it gets a little muddy. You start to kind of like.
Yeah, Ingenious Essence, and then you got
is good, but I don't know, man.
The Surge 2.
Is Ingenious strictly better than Combat? Like, I don't think it is.
Yes.
Nah, I don't think it is.
Yeah, you see the no extra mana cost. Yeah, I like
Combat
that.
goes on any card though. I don't know. Yeah, those are the debates. Those are the things you gotta think about. Martial Essence. So this is a role player, but I think it's like insanely good, and people sleep on it. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I gotta test this out once. Like build a deck specifically around this, and it felt gross.
Yeah. So
to be able to move an item.
It's a +2 CCC, which is really low, so you can put this on like a ton of cards. And it adds the effect that says when this card resolves, you may move an item you own from one unit to another. So like if you're playing it real effectively, it's like, okay, I've got some like super sweet item, a sword, whatever, you know, attack with the unit that it's on, play a new unit. Why would it pop that up in the middle of my recording? Play a new unit and then, you know, swap over with the martial essence onto the new unit, stuff like that. I mean, there are a bunch of tricks you can play with this. And it's only 2 CCC. You could just like sneak this onto like any card in your deck, and it's like, okay, my card that I already wanted to play now just has this really potent added effect on it.
Yeah, sometimes if you have a good enough item, you swing with it on a unit, and you play a card that has martial essence and put it on a different unit and swing again.
Especially items like the very first card we're going to see in a minute here that give accuracy, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the real brutal ones.
Mow down a board.
Yep. Pure Light Essence. This is the cycle of pure essences where they are locked to their given color. So this card is light locked. It has to go on a light card. 3 CCC, adds an HP, and then has the again added effect essentially, right? You're ultimately modifying the spell effect at this point, where it's when this card resolves, heal 2 damage from target card.
Now, I don't know if everyone at home is picking up a theme here.
Yeah.
But we're high HP, and we like to heal.
Keep being big.
We are. Just some big lads, big heals, and a new card that you created we also get to talk about today that I'm real excited about.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, the deck that I played it in most recently, it was kind of underperforming, but that might be the deck more than the card.
I mean, I think it's the deck creator, to be honest, but that's all right.
Okay, that checks out. So heal 2 from any card. This is kind of insane. It's so versatile because it's like, oh, I'm getting beat down, my shrine's low, I'll heal 2 off of it. Oh, I've got like a guy with like 2 damage on it that's, you know, making him, you know, it's tough for him to defend. He doesn't have like, you know, low speed, whatever. I'll heal 2 damage from it. Random structure that's like, you know, kind of a linchpin to my strategy. Heal 2 from it. You know, whatever it is. I mean, that versatility and the fact that it is pretty close to free, right? I mean, this essence is not a lot more difficult to use than an Infused Light essence, right? Like Infused Light, 1 less CCC. So if you're playing a heavy enough light deck, like this thing gets in there, and I mean, That heal at the right time could be super, super important.
Oh yeah.
And okay, another little
Pick your
theme.
shrine, pick a big creature, pick anything.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay, let me just slide him down. Okay. I don't know why he couldn't see the channel, but we got him in here now. Yeah, I think this is the last essence, Warding Essence, and this one actually has another. This is another one of like the themes that you're gonna see in Light. That quite literally like putting the spotlight on the fucking the stealthy shadow characters. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah, light doesn't like dark in the world. So what does dark have? Stealth.
Yep.
What does light have? They don't have stealth.
Yep.
But we're gonna defend as if we had stealth.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a something that you'll see in the light cards, and it gets pretty extreme as you go forward. There are some really good anti-stealth options in light cards in this set and in some of the other ones too. I'd say the the granddaddy anti-stealth card is in this set though. I think it's this last or the second to last card. I don't know if you're picturing the alphabet, but we'll see when we get there.
Yep. No, I know.
Okay, yeah. And then we're back to Essence Fraternity. Yep. So yeah, anti-stealth, big HP, regenerate, healing,
just.
I'd say that's a pretty good look at the color pie for light cards. There is one other unique feature, I guess you would say, and we're going to see that within the first couple of actual base cards. So we'll go ahead and get in, and when we get to that feature that light kind of has a monopoly on, we'll talk about it briefly. But Armentia, jump right in with an epic unit, or excuse me, epic item.
Epic item linked to a unit. Armentia, it's 2 light, so just light. If link unit is a light, it gains accuracy. Link unit gains +1 speed, and linked unit gains whenever this card deals combat damage to a unit. Daze that unit.
Yeah, we've definitely come across Daze maybe once already. I'm not sure. But
actually, I don't think so at all. I think in set 1, it's all in air, right?
Is it all in air?
I think set 1, right? There's a few multi-colors that have it, but I think majority of it's in air.
It might be.
So I think this is the first time we've seen Daze.
Well, there it is. So Daze is like a status effect that locks the card's speed to 0. So kind of the way Armentia works here is, okay, my unit gains accuracy, gains speed. I'm going to run up, like, stab you in the face with a spear, and you're going to, like, really take issue with that. If I'm faster than you and I deal that damage to you first, then you're gonna get dazed. And the reason that that's important is once your speed is dropped down to 0, units, well, not even units, cards, just any card that has 0 speed or 0 power cannot deal combat damage. They're basically, put out of combat essentially. So yeah, this weapon does a really awesome job of just like picking apart the board, because it's like, okay, I get the speed, I have the accuracy, I'm going to jump in there, I'm going to hit one of your guys, he's not going to hit me back because I just dazed him. I'm being precise with my combats, I'm making sure that I'm faster, whatever. And yeah, this is sort of the role model, if you'll say, for martial essence, right? Like, if you can attack with this thing twice a turn by swapping it between characters, that's insane. It's so strong. Oh
yeah. I mean, it just does so much. I mean, we when we play tested like set 1 through 3, set 1 through 4, like this card was always in there. This thing's a powerhouse at all stages of
yeah.
Flawed.
This card has never felt like I didn't want it in my light decks, regardless of the strategy that I'm playing. I'm pretty much always looking at this thing. I'm like, it's an epic card. Obviously, I can only play the one, but it's the type of card that you pretty much never are upset drawing. Right? I mean, you have to be literally like no cards in hand, no guys in play, like about to die to draw Armentia and be like, that's not the one I wanted. Like that's basically the only scenario where it feels terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, sweet card. I would say it's almost a little tiny bit atypical for light. Accuracy is a feature that's seen in light, like here and there. It does show up. But the whole concept of this is very kind of unique for light cards. The gaining of the speed and like becoming real, kind of, I guess you would say, agile and precise combat units. Usually they're just kind of dumb and tanky. But yeah, this card definitely strong one.
Also, I'm just gonna say it. When you said reach out and stab someone with a spear, I was just looking at this shovel here, and I was imagining someone just in the middle of combat getting like whacked in the head with a shovel, and I think that's more dazing than getting stabbed with a spear. Because I'd be so caught off guard with just getting bonked in the head with a shovel mid-fight, just be like, what happened here?
Just like behind them with like an old timey like spade, just like thunk.
Yeah, rusty, just
yeah. Yeah, you're not coming back from that easily. There it is. All right, so this is the other little sub-theme that Light has. They negate units. No other color negates units specifically, I should say, right? We saw Fire has negates, or unnegate, I should say, that can target any card type. But Light has the ability to
the specific
only,
one, like because we had absorb magic in Earth, which specifically hits events, and now we have the one that specifically hits units.
Exactly. And that's pretty much the way that the color pie is defined. Fire can negate anything. Light can negate units, and Earth can negate events. And those sort of guidelines pretty much stay in place. They really don't bleed. They're, as I've gone forward with design and kind of looked at some of the Future League stuff, there are some like maybe multicolor cards that might see an effect similar to this, but like if I have a multicolor card that negates a unit, it's gonna be partially light, right? Like that's because that's like where the core, pie is.
Core concept comes from,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But this card in particular, go ahead.
I'm probably gonna say the same thing, that it's based off this card's HP versus the unit's power, and if you guys remember the essences, we can make this thing pretty big.
HP, yeah.
Yeah.
We've actually
cranking it to 5 hits so much.
Oh
my god. Pretty much everything but like 5 cards, I think it's at 1, like base stat wise.
We've had a couple conversations about this card internally, and I don't know if you've ever been part of one of these, but I kind of hate that this is close to a 1 essence card. Even you just said, you're like, yeah, you really want to crank this thing to 5 because then you can just negate literally anything. And it's like, okay, there's 1 essence that cranks the HP to 5, but then like, does that just kind of invalidate like all the other options? Am I stuck where if it's like, okay, if I'm putting banishment in my deck, I can count myself, I've already used up my essence of life because I know what's going on here. And I kind of hate that. I want to investigate this card a little bit and see if there's a better...
You do, but like I think if you like crank it to 4 to like let it still get to 5 on like a +1 essence, then giving it to +2 and cranking it to 6 is just like...
Yeah, if this card were to become adjusted, I think that the, like, as you just said, if the HP went up to 4, then the CCC would have to go high enough that it could no longer take 2 HP. And that's definitely an option.
That's reasonable.
That's not a crazy thing to think about doing. You just have to look at like what that does as far as like deck strength, right? Because for every deck that's playing banishment now, if you say, okay, we're going to quote unquote nerf banishment so it can no longer, take +2 HP, you're realistically just adding +2 HP to another card in that deck, right? Like the deck's strength ends up going up. So you have to like really pay attention to that type of stuff.
Which, based on some other conversations we had, might be needed.
It might be. Best laid plans. This is Jalen's like favorite card. He's in the stream right now. He played this in the very first online tournament that he ever competed in. Really sweet deck. Honestly, he showed up. But yeah, best laid plans. It costs a single light and says take a number of additional actions equal to this card's HP. After these actions, all your future actions this turn must be pass. It's got 3 HP. You can more than likely add an HP to it with some type of essence. Not always, but you probably will. And yeah, this thing is basically like, okay, I'm gonna play my whole turn, and then you can play your whole turn. That's what it says.
Yep. I'm gonna do everything I want to do, and then you can go.
Yeah.
Kind of like a reminiscence of the dark card that allows you to take 2 additional.
Yep. It is actually
actions.
Similar to that one. It's a little easier to set up, but a little bit more punishing on the backside, right? Like obviously, this limits the total number of things you could possibly do at a time, but.
I mean, if you crank this up 1, then you just take 4 actions.
4 actions is a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Like that's.
I mean, I've won games with this card, just like slamming it down, taking 4 straight actions, and just pushing through.
I actually remember the very first time I played this against Trollber, who's in chat right now. I prepped on the last action of my additional actions, and he's like, "Well, you can't prep. You're gonna have to pass anyway." And I'm like, I sure can. Like I just did it. Like why?
Yep.
Why
last action, prep. Yep.
Yeah. Seems like exactly what I should be doing here.
Take 3 actions and then steal the prep.
Yep. Which is pretty good. I mean, for like, if you just look at this as, you know, kind of like guaranteeing that you're going to get the prep this turn, it just turns it into like a cycle, right? You're getting a card off the back of it and like possibly making a couple of attacks or, you know, putting a little bit of pressure here or there. Whatever you end up doing with those actions is like, it's beneficial. But the real thing is I'm just definitely going to get the prep this turn because there's like no, I'm giving myself that big window to do it.
Oh yeah, you just and sometimes it's also a good like comeback mechanic where you start falling behind and you're like, well, I can't let him take another 2 or 3 actions and like just win the game here. Let me kind of try to reset the board.
Yeah, if you've got a situation where you've got the cards in hand but your opponent has a lot of pressure out, right? This can also save you in those environments because it's like, okay, I'm gonna take like my 3 or 4 actions. I'm gonna play 2 defenders. I'm gonna, you know, activate some surge or something to like set my board up. I'm gonna prep and I'm gonna sit here with my removal spell and I'm not gonna die this turn because I was able to set up before you had the chance to like come in and kill me. Yeah, sweet card. I actually think this one is a little slept on as far as like how many decks actually play it. Jalen was ahead of his time. He says this is the best. Yeah, taking the prepper, setting up. Taking a prep and setting up, excuse me, or like AJ saying you can just win. Yeah, this card is actually, this is the way Jalen played, is he put it in a really aggressive deck where like turns like 1 through 3, he was just like attack, and then like turn forward start, and it's just like
best laid plans.
Literal action 1, best laid plans. Can you survive like all 4 of my guys attacking you? If you can't, we're gonna call it there. If you can, I'm gonna prep on the last action and we'll try again next turn.
Oh, look at that! I have another best laid plans. Let's run it back.
Exactly. Cleanse. This is a basic kind of workhorse type card. Single light, 3 CCC. It's got 3 speed, which is pretty huge, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it just says destroy target continuous event. Very simple. Light has a little bit of a sub theme where they're kind of anti-continuous events. They like to blow, you know, keep that type of nonsense out of here and just let us be tanky. But yeah, there's not a ton to say about this card. This is one of those cards that's kind of like a tech card, right? You're gonna be playing the deck. Yeah, see, Cam's bringing it back to Icy Finny is bringing it back to Turn the Tides, which is the really strong water card that we spoiled a while ago. And yeah, this is just a 1 mana answer, 1 resource answer to a 6 cost card that usually just wins you the game. So.
Just slap one of in your deck if they're not playing continuous events, resource it, and move on.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things is that you get to play your sideboard in the main deck. Like, it sounds awkward, but like realistically, you if you get really good at identifying what your deck is bad at, like I've got this strategy, I'm really good in these areas, I have weaknesses, you can just fix those weaknesses like right inside of your deck, right? So. As an example, you know, Turn the Tides is the type of card that, like, if the game goes long enough, I can't beat it. Well, okay, I'm playing a deck that wants to go really long. I better play some cleanses, right? Like, if I'm worried about Turn the Tides, I should have some of these in my deck.
Oh yeah.
Here's your card, AJ.
Yes. I'm excited. So this is Combat Medic. He costs 1 light. He's a human cleric unit. When he's in the combat zone, tap him, heal damage equal to this card's HP from another target unit. Not too much to say about this card just yet. Kind of just got printed and made, so he's still in the early stages of testing. But as someone who's jammed a lot of light decks and has attempted to jam like different kind of light decks, I'm excited about this card to be able to get this sleeved up and start pushing. Early 1 drop with 2 health doesn't do damage.
No.
0 power, 0 speed, but you can give it some speed, you can give it some power. And
I'm really torn on what essence this thing's supposed to take. I think that there are like, I don't know.
Dude, I'm putting a +2 health essence on it and not caring. And
it can't take +2 health. It's 3 CCC.
Oh, well, I'm putting +1 on it and I'm healing 3 every turn. I no care.
No looking back.
No looking back.
I mean, that's the brutish way to do it, but like I think the brutish way to do it is one of the good ways to do it. Just like I have this thing that's gonna heal 3, and you're gonna have to answer.
Oh no, deal 3 damage to my shrine. Well, anyways.
Yeah.
Our unit.
This heals units. You can't heal the shrine with this, but still, there are plenty of units with like enormous butts, as we're gonna see as we go through here, and this guy is gonna give you a lot of mileage on those.
I'm real excited for the card to play with this and with set 3 card.
Oh god, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Recovers him. You're gross.
Yeah.
Speaking of units with huge butts.
I hate this card.
You hate it?
I not hate it as in like card design. I hate playing against this card.
Yeah.
This card has blown me out so many times, but this is a devoted defender. He's 3 color, 3 of anything, 1 light human soldier unit. While defending, this card gains +2 power, +2 speed.
Oh my God.
It has 2 CCC, a random computer error from Ken.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've never seen that pop up before in my life.
6 HP, 2 power, and 2 speed base. So while this card's defending, it has 6 HP, 4 power,
yeah,
4 speed.
And
This thing eats things. Like, it does not care.
Yeah, this guy's winning the like first combat that you put him in every time. Important note, once he defends and he is exhausted, if you start attacking directly into him, he's no longer defending, he's just exhausted and getting,
Getting slapped.
Yeah. So that +2 power, +2 speed from the passive effect is just the first defense. Unless you find some interesting ways to recover him, or maybe give him steadfast. Like there are definitely some things that you can do. But yeah, this guy's super thick, super good in combat. This is the turn that like the control decks that are playing this type of a strategy turn the corner. When this guy comes down, the decks that are trying to attack are just like,
you just blank an entire turn from your enemy.
I already didn't play a kill spell because I like developed my board this turn, and I certainly don't want to attack. So I guess
so
you're
prep?
safe. Yeah. better save an assassin or a drown for this guy because he is tough. 6 HP.
I have constantly done that.
Yeah. 6
in
HP
decks that you play this in,
yeah.
I hold removal spells for this guy. I do not like this guy.
He's so hard to kill with just like damage or whatever. You really have to have some of the like pointed, just like kill a guy if cards are like the only way to really handle this guy effectively.
Yeah, or a 15 stealth assassin.
Okay, all right, we're done here. We don't need to talk about that anymore.
Oh, we're talking about it. That's stream highlight.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we gotta get through the rest of these cards before you can brag on it.
That's fair. Another good card. I'm fan of, even though I've been
beaten
down by this card.
I actually thought that this card was like less good than it was until pretty recently.
No, this card is good. Expert Trapsmith. It's light, human tactician, non-shrine structures you control gain +1 power, +1 speed. It has 3 CCC, 3 health, 1 power, 2 speed.
Yeah. Comically, we've crossed like literally no structures at this point.
That's because they're
like, just alphabet. No.
Yeah, alphabet. There's one in what, like 4 cards, I think, if I memorize light correctly.
Soonish, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, these little stat points, like, they really matter, and they matter a lot on even your kind of like throwaway structures. The ones that aren't
necessarily as good, but like they're still good roadblocks, but like giving them +1 power, +1 speed turns them from like throwaway structures to like,
they base
that hurts. Do you want to change the color scheme to improve performance?
I don't understand. I've never in my life seen that before. This is so insane.
Dude, I hope you get memed on in the YouTube comments about this.
I'm telling you, we're gonna have to reshoot the entire thing. But no, that's so like we talked earlier about how you don't deal damage in combat unless you have both power and speed. Well, this thing gives power and speed, right? So even your watchtowers and your pillories and your whatever like random structures that you have in play, and this is also all non-shrine structures. So sure,
you'll learn about watchtower.
It doesn't affect your shrine, but it does affect non-light cards, right? So like you just have random, I don't know, siege trebuchets and things of that nature. They're all getting this buff, and it matters. Like, it really does matter. It's only a 2-drop. It's easy enough to like work in on certain turns. 3 HP. It's not like super easy to kill unless you're using, again, like a pointed destruction card on it. Which, if you're blowing your assassin on my 2 cost, what are you doing about my devoted defender or whatever else, right? So.
I've been in that scenario, and it does not feel good.
I like this
because
card.
this card has to go.
I like this card.
This thing is on par with a lot of epics, I think, in certain matchups.
In the right deck, this thing ends up.
Yeah, in the right deck, this thing is
6. I mean, you had stat points at a time sometimes.
Yeah, I played against this when Ken has had 2 of these on the board at the same time.
Yep.
Yet you just don't attack.
I remember when I had built the like all Garrison.
There is someone knocking on my door. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. a super quick pause while we see who's at the front door. Hopefully my pop-up will stop. Guess we can go ahead and prime the next card, Garrison. This is a really, really sweet one. I don't like all the dead air. We're just sitting here waiting for AJ to get back from the front door. Maybe we just need to drag somebody else in here and have a quick chat about Garrison.
Garrison.
Ah,
I like
back. Thank goodness.
Yeah, some lady was looking for her cat, but I've literally been indoors like all day today.
Yeah, no, you're not a cat thief. Not to the best of my knowledge.
Nope. I have one annoying cat is I don't need a second one.
Some might disagree with that statement in this channel right now. Garrison. So this is a new one. This card's awesome. I have been playing this in the deck that I most recently made, and Zoltan in chat actually asked in general chat the other day. Actually, I think this might have been just last night. Can Garrison go on epic structures? Yes, it can. You can make it so your shrine can defend. And that sounds weird. It kind of is a little bit weird, but
it is.
The bottom line is the boys are there. They're holding down the fort, so to speak, and they're gonna intercept some attacks. And again,
you got 25 HP to play with on your shrine.
Exactly.
Like you in certain matchups, like you can hide behind your shrine and set up your whole game plan, and all of a sudden just like flip the whole game on its head because you were able to take an extra like 15 damage to your shrine that like you just defended with it out of nowhere.
And it's a really interesting resource to play with because you make it so your opponent can't easily attack directly into other cards, right? So just imagine the board state where I have Garrison on my 25 HP shrine, I have a devoted defender in play, and you're trying to attack and destroy like one of my other structures. I've got a watchtower or something that's causing you problems. Okay, you go to attack the watchtower, I defend with devoted defender, I'm going to absolutely murder your first attacker, right? Okay, cool. Next attacker comes in. Now I'm going to block with my 25 HP shrine and ignore it. Okay, great. My shrine took, 3 damage, 4 damage, 6 damage, whatever it is. It hurts. Yes, I'm giving you damage towards your ultimate goal of killing my shrine, but obviously you didn't want to attack the shrine or you would have just attacked the shrine. The watchtower is clearly causing you more problems right now. And those board states are surprisingly plentiful with this card, where you are just like making a huge like needle in the side, thorn in the side, so to speak, for your opponent.
But guess what? We got healing cards. We'll heal back up.
Exactly. And this is even an item, so when you play it on the 25 HP shrine, it like heals 1 when you play it. because of the trigger.
Yep.
So sweet. There it is. Okay. We finally made it to Garrison.
First one. It was 3 cards.
Yeah. So this is one of the like
God, I love this card.
This is just the like this is one of the characteristic cards for light. It's really hard to build a light deck and like get away from this card and just not want to play it.
Unless you're splashing white.
Yeah,
but
even then, like
yeah, it's still hard. I mean, but if you're playing more than just like random cleanse as like your random white splash, like you are playing guard check.
So yeah, guard check, 2-cost structure, and it says you may defend with this structure as if it were a unit. Basically does what Garrison does to your shrine, but it's its own isolated card. So same scenario, right? Okay, we've got these convoluted board states creeping up, and I just have these like wall of guard shacks down. Mind you, these can take Ingenious Essence, which is, again, free Essence of Combat, so this thing is just going to be stats for days.
5 HP, 2 power, 2 speed.
Mind you, this thing gets stats from Expert Trapsmith, right? So, like, it all just stacks up. And yeah, now you have to try to attack through these structures that I'm able to defend with, while also having cards out like Devoted Defender, whatever it may be. It can be really tough to like get your attacks to go where you want them to go against a light deck. They just have so much like in the way.
Yeah, I mean, this card's great. This card comes down turn 2 and stonewalls some decks until turn 5.
Yeah, honestly, that's also something not to be understated, right? Assassin cannot target this card, right? Hatred cannot target this card, right? Call Lightning cannot target this card. Like, every targeted strike cannot target this card, right? This is not a unit. It defends as if it were a unit, but this is a structure. And a lot of decks, their way to deal with structures is by attacking them. The problem is they weren't ready to get hit back, right? They weren't ready to face a structure that's going to easily be a 5-2-2 or a 5-3-3 if you have a Trapsmith out or whatever, right? And you know, it slows down certain angles of attack so much, just like you said. If your aggro deck is not really prepared for something like this, you're either going to get... I cannot believe... And don't show this message again. Boom. Okay, I figured it out.
Why didn't you click that the first time?
Because I didn't want to read it.
Why did we see it 5 times?
But yeah, this card, if you're playing kind of like just a curve out aggro deck that doesn't have like, you know, options for burn, so to speak, this thing's gonna like 2-for-1 you like every time because you're gonna have to run into it with like multiple units.
Sometimes 3-for-1.
Yeah, honestly.
Like 2 speed, 2 power. Like sometimes you can eat like three units sometimes. I would know.
Yeah. Mend. This card's pushed, honestly. This card's pushed.
I don't know about pushed.
It is.
But
like what does Ram the Gates do against this? Like, it's so
I'm gonna be honest. If you're playing a Ram the Gates deck against my like mono light deck, you're pretty sad already.
No, I agree. But like, I literally just clicked on it and I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I gave this a point of speed. Like, it already is an instant, so to speak. And has 3 CCC, you know, ways to modify it. Heal 5 from any card. You can get your Shrine. You can get, you know, your Devoted Defender or whatever fat guy just needs a big heal.
Guard Shack's almost dead.
Guard Shack's about to be dead. Nope. Reset that. This card's pushed. I think this card is actually just like...
I don't know if it's pushed. I like this card a lot.
I think it's good. I think this card is super strong in the decks that want it. It's also just like an out. Like I wouldn't say an out, but it's like an anti-race.
Like a little breather.
Yeah.
It's like
my opponent
give yourself like a breather turn.
My opponent has a bunch of like stealth attackers out, and I really can't interact with them. Okay, I'll just heal 5 this turn, so that like whatever their attacks are pretty much mitigated, and we'll try again next turn. You know, give you a chance to draw that Watchtower draw. You know, get some interaction, get some removal, whatever. Yeah, this card's great.
Oh, yeah, it's still like a fairly new card, right?
Mend? No, Mend is new in the set 1 file. Mend got set shifted at some point.
That's right.
Yeah. Got Night Watch up next. This is a 2-cost human unit. It says, while you control a structure that may defend as a unit, this card gains +1 power and +1 speed. It's a weird line of text, but we've already seen the cards, fortunately. For instance, if you have Garrison on any of your structures or a Guard Shack in play, this guy is essentially utilizing that fortification, the Night Watch, you know, and better at their job, able to gain those extra stats. It's honestly a really strong stat line. When you have that active, it's actually just like a crazy strong stat line.
4 HP, 3 power, 2 speed. Yeah.
On a 2-cost? Yeah.
On a 2-cost.
That's a lot. Obviously,
it makes sense, right? Like, if you're on foot, you're not as strong, but like if you're up in a tower, it's a lot harder for them to get up to you.
Oh yeah.
Get a little stronger.
Absolutely. It's a soft combo card, right? You have to have it's a small 2-card combo to activate this card, but it's pretty big upside. Great stat line. 2 CCC remaining with it's got a 4, so you can put 2 CC essences on it. I've played this guy with a number of the essences that like add a cost to just really pile the stats on. You know, turn it into a 3-cost, but just make it like huge. I like this one. I think it's pretty good. Again, if you're playing the Guard Shacks and the Garrisons and those types of cards, like, you know, why wouldn't you want this guy? You know,
it's so hard to get away from this guy too. Yeah. Light kind of builds itself. You just want to go mono light. You're like, well, here's these 35 cards.
A bunch of it does feel like it goes together pretty like smoothly. Prayers answered. Double light event with unfortunately 0 speed. Maybe I should swap this with Mend. Maybe Mend should be the 0 speed and this one should be the 1 speed. Move any amount of damage from your units to structures you control. The flavor on it's weird, but you know the idea here basically is, you know, all your guys are going to get their second win. They're gonna eat up the resources from your structures, whatever stores you had, whatever reinforcements you had. They're gonna come out.
Like, was that weird, right?
What's that?
Like, think about it. You're out there on the front line.
Yeah.
Taking some damage, right?
Yeah.
And what if a Guard Shack just like pulls up next to you, right?
Sure.
Prayers answered. All right,
You're gonna
that guard check about to take some damage for you.
You're gonna hide behind the walls. It's
Yeah.
gonna get shot up, and that's fair.
And you're gonna reassess and reattack. No, the flavor makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been in a scenario where it's like, oh man, this scenario is rough, and then like an actual tank drives up next to you, and you're like, this scenario is no longer as rough as I thought it was. Prayers answered.
Is coming up.
Coming up my way, coming up Rao. Everything coming up Rao today.
So this is a card that I have actually played in quite a few decks. I almost always play it as a one of. I feel in my heart that when I'm playing these types of decks, I want this to be like a Miser's card where it's like, I'm not going to play it in most games, but the times that I need it, I'm going to slam it down, and it is just going to like drastically change the face of the game.
Yeah. I definitely don't think this is like a 3-0 because there's definitely certain matchups where you're just like looking at this and you're like, well, none of my units have damage on them.
Right. It's tough to play against like the dark decks where they're just like assassin your guy, hatred your guy, whatever, right? Like
just the insta
backstab your guy. It's like, oh well, none of them are hurt. None of them are hurt the way that I need them to be hurt. They're all just dead.
They're all just dead. Does prayers answered bring them back from the grave?
It doesn't. Okay. This does, kinda.
Hey, it's almost like I knew it was coming.
Yeah, nice.
All right, this is re-equip for 1 light. It's an event that returns target item from your dead zone to your hand. 3 CCC to start, but 0 speed. So if you want to play this a little faster, got to add a speed to it. But I mean, this is good. I mean, we saw Armentia, and Armentia is
it's a house.
I want to say broken, but it's I'll say in the words of Jalen, it's cracked.
It is. Yeah,
Armentia is cracked. Yeah. So like. You lose the unit that Armentia was on. You're like, oh no! So anyways, I'll just re-equip this here real quick. Bring it back, put it on another big dude with big butt, and just go back to town with your Armentia.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this card, when it was originally printed, had a clause on it that said non-epic, and it literally just never got played, never got looked at. Was the original text on this. And in my head, I was kind of like, oh, you know, it doesn't really make that much sense for you to be able to get, like, your epics back. Like, those are, like, one of, things. Like, they should be really, like, feel unique when you play them. And I'm just like, but people enjoy playing them. Like, why not let them play more? And now this card actually,
Listen, have you ever played, like, shooters or games with your buddies where someone has an epic item?
Yeah.
And they go down? What do? You pick up the epic item and keep going. Like... Yeah, of course I'm going to re-equip that. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. It took me a little while to get on board. It took me a little time to kind of get that development out there. But, 100% agree that it's more fun to play your sweet card than to not play it. I agree.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's what, not until, like, set 3? 2? That we start getting the dead zone recursion for, like, items?
Set 2. You're talking about that card. That card might not be a card anymore. We're not.
I guess we're still working on the one thing.
That card just might not be a card.
Well, not that card. I was talking about the other card.
Are you talking about the shrine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that card might not be a card anymore.
Okay, we were talking about the same card.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we were talking about the set 4 thing.
No, all those cards aren't going to be anything anymore. Don't worry about those. We don't talk about those.
We don't talk about the dark times.
I'm telling you.
Listen, for those who don't know, I'll give you a little hint of what it was like. Ken made certain things in set 4. I'm not going to spoil them. But they were so good that if you didn't play those cards, there was no point in sleeping. And we just had to nerf like an entire set upon like week 1 of testing.
An entire color in a set. The other 5 colors are just like trying to be like, look at me.
There's no point. There's no point. I mean, Baka could tell you in chat.
Excuse me.
Oh, we killed Ken.
I literally made like a 47 card dark deck and was just like, oh, this has got to be wrong. I should really splash like 3 cards from the broken color and like just put them in there. This is so stupid. But anyway,
all from light.
That's we don't worry about that. We're gonna fix that by the time comes. We've put very little effort into that at this point. Next card up is Refugee. This is as plain as it gets. Single light for a human that has 2 HP, 2 power, and 2 speed. 4 CCC, so you can modify him slightly. 1 cost 2.
Pretty averagely a 3/2/2.
Yeah, these exist in a lot of the colors. Some of them get a little added flair, a little added this, a little added that.
Yeah, because we
Um,
got what Grunt and Fire.
you've got Grunt, you've got Warden, which we haven't seen yet.
Yep,
That's
Warden.
actually set to.
Yep. But I'm
You've
saying specifically
got
set one. It's Refugee, Grunt, and
Ruffian.
the guy Ruffian from
Yeah,
Dark.
Ruffian
Yep.
from Dark. And then there's even pretty sure there's one in air that I'm not thinking of right now. I think almost every color has one at some point, but they all just are a little bit different in different ways. Refugee's kind of one of the worst ones, in all honesty. I mean, it's as basic as they come. You know, the idea being here that you just kind of build your own guy. If you want some extra HP, put some extra HP on him. You want to surge so he's free, go ahead and surge so he's free. Like whatever essence you're gonna put on him, just make it work into your deck.
Yep. Slap whatever infused essence you want
Yep.
on him and continue on.
and sometimes just having a 1-drop is really important. I was actually, when we were playing in set 4 testing, there was that 3-color deck that I had that just really wanted to make sure it got initiative on turn 1 so that it could counter on turn 2.
Yep.
I was playing Refugee in that deck, and I was like,
Was it a 4-color deck?
It was a 3
It's not
color.
your 4-color?
It was
Oh,
3.
it was 3.
I wasn't playing Refugee for a real long time. I was just playing Grunt, and then I was just like one day the light bulb just went off. I'm like, why am I not playing Refugee? Like, I really, really, really just really want to have a 1-drop on turn 1 for this deck. Like,
I think you changed it after you saw me play a random 1-drop in my 4-color control deck to have turn 1 initiative.
Yeah, but yours was actually good though. You actually had a good 1-drop.
Yeah.
Renewer, recently buffed. This card is actually good now, I think.
Yeah, Renewer, one of anything, light for a unit human cleric. When this card enters play, heal 3 damage from target card. Has 4 CCC, 4 HP, 2 power, 2 speed. This card does a lot. This card does a lot for 3.
Yeah.
It blocks or like takes 2 or 3 like 2 hits on average.
Yep.
And it kind of almost resets something in the early game.
Yeah.
Like Garchak took 3 damage. Nope. You know,
I've literally curved Garchak into this guy so many times.
Yeah, even like your Refugee, like maybe beat one of the other 2 1-drops.
Yeah,
has 2 damage on it. Reset your Refugee. You keep going to town. Like this card played curved out is super good. Even the like mid game, like healing 3 is not irrelevant at any point in the game.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's hard to really grasp how strong it is when you read Pure Light Essence, Renewer, Mend. You read all these cards that just say heal damage from target card. That's anything, right? Oh, my units are suffering.
Shrine.
I can save them. My Shrine's just getting beat down, and I need some some stabilization. Yeah, we can do that too. Like, these cards that target anything are really, really strong because, like, you just get the most play options. Granted, it's only healing. It's it's not like it doesn't say deal damage or heal damage or anything crazy like that. But the idea is that, like, okay, whatever the board state is right now, I can apply these like 3 points of healing to where it's going to help me the most. And it's when you play this card, it is like, if you have Renewer in your deck, it's like one game you're going to be doing one thing with it, the very next game it's going to be the opposite. Like, you're just constantly going to be changing kind of what it targets.
Yeah, and I mean it changes. You draw all 3 in a game, not all 3 are going to target or like do the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, it is so versatile, and I like this card. Before it was what, a 3/1/1 or something like that.
It had a much worse stat line. Yeah.
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 I think it had 1 power, 1 speed. I'm not sure about the HP, but it was just like, it was like so bad though. Like playing it was so bad, and then like that just goes to show you that like just a simple like +1 power, +1 speed like changes a card so much.
And you get to do that with essences. You get to just randomly add stats to all your cards already. So yeah. And that 1 extra point really does make a difference on a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Thaddeus.
There he is.
This is the boy that I was posting in Instagram and Discord and everywhere that I was saying, stream tonight, stream tonight, stream tonight. This is the guy, man.
The stranger.
This card is so strong. So strong.
Yeah, so we got Thaddeus. Once again, same cost as Renewer.
Yeah.
One of anything, light. Epic unit. So this is Light's epic unit for set 1. Human Cleric. While it's in the combat zone, you can tap it and a light, heal all damage from another target non-shrine card in your combat zone. And then you can add, for 2 light, you can recover this card. Has 2 CCC, so it can take some of those regenerative essences. 5 HP, 2 power, 1 speed. This card is a workhorse. If you are able to untap like 8 or 9 mana worth of things in a turn, you just All right, heal this, untap, heal this, untap, heal this, untap. Like,
I'm gonna preempt your stream highlight, your weekly highlight a little bit, and give like a historical reference of Thaddeus. There's an essence that we haven't seen yet because it's an air essence. We'll see it next week. And
Yep.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell people what it does. It's called Frenzied Essence, and it adds a line of text on the bottom, like obviously in the essence space, that says, while this card's in the combat zone, whenever you discard a card, give this +1 power until end of turn. So at some point, there becomes some ways that it's kind of a little bit easier to discard cards than it is now. There will be a little more support for those types of strategies, in future sets. But I put that card on Thaddeus, that essence on Thaddeus, played a deck that was able to discard like 5 cards in a single turn, cranking his power up to 7, and then just went attack for 7, pay 2 light, recover, attack for 7, pay 2 light, recover, attack for 7, pay 2 light, recover, and just actually like OTK Jake one time in a game from literal full HP. Just actually set it up, like perfectly controlled the board, killed off his guys, got the open attacks, and just literally Thaddeus just said, okay, I think I'll kill you now.
The only OTK to ever happen.
Jalen and Cantnut were both, I think, somewhere adjacent to this. I don't know if they were watching the table or if they were watching, I was streaming it or recording it or what, but these guys saw it. It was
But it's not the only OTK. There's an epic unit that I've seen OTK like 6 times.
Not OTK. Usually 2 turns for Griffin, right?
No, I'm not talking about Griffin.
Oh.
I'm talking about a 3-color epic.
Oh. Yeah, that's fair, maybe. I don't know.
I've definitely been.
I don't know if she's ever done it from absolute full HP, but maybe.
I think she's done it to me.
Okay, that's possible.
This was 0.
This was 0.
Yeah, I think it's only happened with her once too. That I've seen.
Yeah, but no.
But it is hard to do, and it's super fun to pull off.
It was a really sweet deck idea, and I mean, there are some wild things that you can make happen that sometimes you don't even realize you're going to make happen, right? Like,
yep.
It's not always super obvious that your deck just has the ability to like string these pieces together and like do this cool thing, and then you're doing it, and you're like, oh man.
And that also shows you like the power of combining like 2 colors, right?
Exactly.
Like you had the air essence on this, and I assume a lot of air cards that help discard there because I think I know roughly some of the cards.
I mean, you'll see next week there are cards that like in air that allow you to like draw and discard and stuff, and that
I mean
stays present as you go into future sets. So obviously you can imagine you can get to the point where you can discard a lot of cards in one turn.
Yeah, it just shows you that like monocolor is good, and dual color is never out of the question. It is always an option.
Of course. But yeah, Thaddeus, sweet card. I feel like we didn't talk that much about his heal all damage effect. Like, super strong. This thing is insane.
Non-shrine, so you can't reset your shrine.
Yeah, you can't reset your shrine, but if you ever get a big heal, like heal 4, heal 5 on like another like real thick unit, it's just so much board presence, and like it's always there. It's always there kind of pressuring your opponent where they're like, oh, do I want to get tangled up in like a tough combat this turn where I'm going to, this attack's kind of favorable, but then this one's maybe not so much, but then I can get some damage in here, and then it's just like, yeah, but I'm resetting that first one. Like, I'm just going to peel that guy up to full.
I mean, I've seen this card like against some of the damage-based AoE effects, like almost kill everything, and I try to set up for a second damage-based AoE, and Thaddeus just goes, nope. Yeah. Okay. Like, I hope you have 2 more because you're gonna need them.
And one
like,
speed,
I think you added a speed to that.
One speed might be real kind of meager, but it's enough, right? 1 speed means you can do it in the middle of combat. You can do it in response to a lot of the other 1 speed effects, 0 speed effects. Like there are enough opportunities to weave this in that it ends up being pretty potent. And
if you think of something cool that you just want to like have endless mana and do it, like you could easily pump its speed.
Yes.
It would only 2 CC. Like you can add so much to this. You can add Essence of Combat to this.
You can
make him a 6/3/2.
I've literally done it.
I know you have.
Triage. So this is like the first tribal card that we're really seeing in light. There's a shrine improvement that I think is like the best tribal light card, but we'll talk about those another time. Triage is a single light for an event that says it's got 2 lines of text on it. The first one says that it's played with +1 speed if you control a cleric. So ultimately, you could play this in response if you have a cleric in play. You don't have to wait for your own action. And then it says heal damage equal to this card's HP from target unit. It's a little short on scope, but it's super efficient. Super efficient.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good amount of clerics in here, right? Renewer is a cleric. I think the next card's a cleric.
Thaddeus is a cleric.
That is a cleric. I think the next card's a cleric too. Maybe.
I'm gonna click just to see. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, look at me. I click back. There's a lot going on there. Click back. Click back. Click back. But anyway, so triage is one light. You get an extra speed if you have a cleric, and it has 3 CCC, so you can buff this HP up a little more and be able to have a 1 light like heal 3 just out of nowhere.
The last time I played this card, I was playing it in a deck with I think only like 9 clerics or something. It wasn't a ton, but it was enough that you would get the +1 speed consistently, like semi-consistently. Yep. And I was playing it with Pure Light Essence so that it gave it an HP, so it was heal 3 from target unit, but then Pure Light Essence is also heal 2 from target card. So I just had this instant speed, like heal 3 and heal 2 that only cost 1. It's like a little bit worse than Mend because like half of it has to go on a unit, but then it's also split up, so you could potentially get like more value, and it only cost 1. Like this, it was actually like
literally a third the mana.
Yeah, when I had it in my hand, I always felt like, okay, this turn's gonna be solid because like no matter which type of like if the combat goes this way or that way, whatever, I can like always bait them into making a bad attack because they go attack. I'm like, okay, defend before damage, heal the guy that you thought you were gonna kill. Carry on from there.
Yes, and restart.
Sweet card. Another sweet card, True Believer. I like this guy a lot.
Oh God, I hate this guy.
I've played this guy against you a bunch lately, but
oh my God, yes.
He's triple light.
A little tough to pull off in multicolored decks, but if you can fit this guy,
he's great.
I mean, just his first ability is just good enough sometimes.
Yep. So you got a unit, Acolyte Cleric, so he does play with the Cleric tribal stuff. His first ability is Regenerate 4, which the help text will remind us says heal 4 damage from this card at the end of each turn. Sworn Enemy, the name of the new Patreon tier that we just added last night. On dark cards, fire cards, and air cards, this guy gets +3 power. That's half of the game. That's literally half of the possible units that you could play. This guy comes in as, instead of a 5/1/2, a 5/4/2. That if you don't one-shot, he's just going to regenerate it all back.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yep. And, you throw, like, if you splash, like, light fire and throw, like, an Essence of Might on him, then he has 4 power, or 3 power, and sometimes 5 speed, and then regenerates 4. So, like, killing this card in combat is...
Jalen's
popping off.
He's just like OP cracked WTF 3 question mark. Like can't believe his eyes. No, this card is super good. Obviously it's going to underperform a little bit against like mono light decks or mono water decks or there will be some decks that just have none of these colors in there. Sure. So resource them, right? It's like this is kind of a tech card, but like only partially because it's like good 50% of the time. Like this card is really good.
No, I'm not resourcing. This man's a roadblock.
Yeah, that's the other.
This man eats a 4 attack or less and then heals its entire self immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the other thing is he's never completely dead, right? Even if your opponent was literally playing none of those colors, what you just said is completely true, right? 5 HP stands there. If you don't one-shot me, I'm just gonna heal it all. I'm just gonna go right back to full HP. So you have to figure out how to kill me in 1 turn, or I'm just gonna be here.
Forever.
Yeah.
I've literally seen that guy cast it on turn 3 and he's still there for turn 15.
Yeah.
It is a nightmare.
Really sweet card. Huge fan of this guy. Okay.
There he is, the card you've referenced 48 times this stream.
Yeah, I play this card a lot.
This card's so good.
I play this card a lot.
You guys like how Dark and Water have a lot of stealth?
Yeah.
Well, Watchtower's got your back if you ain't playing those colors. We got one of anything and a light for a structure. All units lose stealth. Has 6 CCC, 4 HP, 0 power, 0 speed.
Yeah, this card is like so critical to exist.
It is. It's kind of necessary to exist.
Yeah, in a way. And it's an important note that like the way the rules are written is that losing stealth cannot be like undone, right? Like this is a blanket like you do not have stealth, right? So in the case where you played a stealth guy after this is already in play, doesn't have stealth. In the case where you activated an ability to gain stealth after this is in play, no, doesn't have stealth. Like, get that out of here.
Was it covert operations? Game +2 spell and draw a
Yep,
card.
yep. That's
Yep.
that's a
Doesn't
good
matter.
example. Yeah, doesn't
You
matter.
drew a card, sure.
Cool.
Don't have stealth though.
And it's always so funny because the decks that this is really, really, really good against are like their way to
literally
kill it,
drop their hand
their way
in
to
anger.
kill it. Their way to kill it is to attack it. But then you were just like, well, sorry, all your stealth guys don't have stealth anymore,
yeah.
and
I have 3 guard shacks, devoted defender,
exactly. It's like you thought you were just gonna sneak by this brick wall that I built up and attack my watchtower. No, you're not.
Yeah, I've literally been on one side of the game where it's like, yeah, I'm winning, because he can't block any of my stealth units, and he goes, watchtower.
Yep.
All right, well, next game.
And don't forget the really key feature: heal 1 from your shrine.
Yeah.
Super key feature.
Yep. Comes in, heals 1. I mean, expert trapsmith makes this a 4/1/1.
Yep. Which also matters. Like at times, your opponent's gonna have to attack this twice, and now you're just getting chip damage from them attacking it because this thing.
You put your basic light essence on it. Boom, 5 HP.
Yep.
So good.
I think this is the last card. I'm pretty sure Z is the end of the alphabet.
I'm trying to think if there's a second Z card. I don't think there is, right?
I think there is now.
Yeah. This card, I haven't seen too much, but I'm excited.
So I was trying this out in a deck very recently, and I was actually playing.
And you got blanketed by like 6 spells in a row from me.
So you beat me up with that deck. I was playing Jake with it a couple nights ago on TTS, and I had this thing in play, and he just played like 3-speed guy, 3-speed guy, 3-speed guy, and every time I'm like, oh, Zealot would be really good here, except I didn't put any extra speed on it, so I can't activate the ability in response, so your guy just resolves, and I couldn't do anything, and then he finally just like slams Griffin, and I'm just like, but wait a minute, Griffin has 2 speed. Zealot has 2 speed.
Do something.
I will destroy my card in response and negate your Griffin, and I'm just like, yes, it finally worked. It was so good. And I got like the best guy.
Yeah. I mean, don't let that scare you. There's certain decks that do have a lot of speed on their units, but there's also a lot of decks that are only playing 2 speed or less units.
And that's also partially my fault because the deck that I'm playing this in is playing it with only 2 speed, right? Like you can use an essence to increase the speed if you're more worried about the negation effect than otherwise, right? And like this goes into like the whole idea of deck building and like the philosophy of like what matters on your cards. In the deck that I'm playing, I was on a 3-color deck where I just needed to get a dual essence in the deck so that I could have my colors fixed, right? So that reverse engineering thing comes into play, and it's like, okay, what color can I put a dual essence on? Or excuse me, what card can I put a dual essences on? And Zealot came up on the list, and I'm like, okay, I slap a dual essence on this. I'm going to use it as a resource like most of the time, but every once in a while I'll probably play him, right? Well, that situation came up. I played him, and he sat there for like 5 turns before I could finally use him. But I did use him, so you know, you just got to kind of take what you can give, what you can get, based on what your deck needs.
Yeah, I mean, this card I've seen small, but I think this card's good. I mean, if you like play it, like give him plus speed, you can block like a hit or 2 and then negate something.
Exactly.
So effectively, this card single-handedly beats like 3 units.
Yeah, and it goes back to the argument with like True Believer, right? It's like never completely dead because it is just a 5/2.
No.
Like that's not a bad stat line. Like it's not great for a 5-cost card, but it's not a bad stat line.
But the ability on it, it's like this. Think about it. This is like a 3-costed stat line in a way, plus a 2-mana ability on it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So where we get up to the 5. I mean, it's good. It's good. The two adds up, and the 2 speed is very relevant.
Yeah,
it adds up pretty fast.
I'm actually very interested to see how this plays in like a light air deck where you just put its speed up to 4 and it can negate basically anything.
Dude, it can. I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
Next list.
I'm not gonna spoil things.
Next list.
Next list. Yeah, next list. Well, that's list down the list.
Yeah.
And that's it for light cards.
Light cards, sweet. Yeah. I mean, I as far as like a closing remark on light in general, I have been like the biggest fan of light. I know I mentioned at the beginning that I thought.
Wait, you've been the biggest hater of light.
No, that's not true. Even before you knew how to play, even before you were ever you were even a
someone in chat confirm this.
What?
I wasn't even a thought yet.
If Ruben were in here, he would tell you. If Ruben were in here, he would tell you. I have been like since day one. I've just been like light cards, like anime. Like I just But yeah, I'm a big fan. I think the plus HP is like super important on a lot of cards and a lot of board states. I've always been pushing for this stuff. What's your highlight of the week? Go ahead and.
All right. So.
Do I need to? Here, I can give.
Pull up the 3-card combo.
Is it 3, or do I just need to show 2?
Yeah, it's the essence. Well, I guess they know what assassin is. Essence plus evasion tactics. But anyways, so we went over dark last week, and we had. Oh, you just have the full card. So this is the version of assassin I was playing. 5 mana, stealth 1 basically, and then the clandestine essence gives stealth 3, plus this card.
There you go.
So off rip, this card immediately goes to 6 power. With 7 power. With 2 evasion tactics, it goes up to 11 power. And you know what's less than 11? Almost every card in the game. You know what it feels even better against? A Griffin that has like 9 attack. And you just go, oh, assassin for 11 and just blow it up. We were talking about it when I was building this, that there is an epic coming that has a ton of speed that is able to transfer its speed to its power. And with 2 evasion tactics, this thing literally just like a build around, blow up anything. And then I swung in and killed Ken immediately for like 15 damage on 1 assassin swing.
He actually got the triple invasion tactics out, played an assassin, like killed my last hope of resistance, and goes, "What's your shrine at?" Attack for 15.
You're at 19 health shrine with 4 damage on? You're dead.
It was not pleasant. One of the biggest individual hits I've ever seen dealt, honestly. I mean, there have been like legitimate OTKs where entire shrines have been killed by 1 turn, but this was
almost 1 swing your entire shrine.
I think this was the biggest 1 swing that we've actually seen in the game up to this point, and it ended the game pretty quickly. I didn't have anything to do about that.
Oh, you had both my cards ready to go, full bill how I had it.
I was able to pull them up, man. I've been working real hard on getting these ready for everybody. I mean, doing what I can.
So when's that TTS update?
So the TTS update, that's a good question. As of right now, TTS mod is available on Steam for Sworn Enemy, Epic, and Slayer Squad tiers on Patreon. Starting to get people added in there where they can, subscribe to the mod and actually load up and play games. Right now there are 4 pre-constructed decks on the table that you can just load up and like kind of tool around with, play some matches, get a feel for the game. Our tutorial videos are almost done. I've got the script written for almost all of them at this point, and we're trying to get those finished recording. Over on the YouTube channel, there's at least like 6, 7, 8 of them up already, and we've got a handful more to kind of round that out. But it's I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, to get the cards in people's hands. Hopefully get some people playing some games in this very Discord. Yeah.
Cards in your mouse, on your mouse.
Hypothetical
hands, yeah.
But yeah, that is the next step for sure. And then it's already been stated in the Patreon tier, but the next goal is to have card database ready so that people can start building their own decks, because I'm a deck builder. I'm a fiddler. I'm a tuner. I like to get in there and play with the numbers, play with the curve, play with the counts, and that's
you and I personally built 10 decks in the past month.
Yeah, more than that.
Well, I'm saying that we've actually sleeved up and punched each other with.
Yeah, you and I side by side have probably done an easy 10 decks. I build decks on TTS whenever I get a
constantly.
Chance. I'll be sitting here playing with something almost every day. But yeah, the next step is to get deck building ready for players so that they can actually look at the card database and make all their own choices. If they want to play 5-cost assassin with stealth 4, they can do that. If they want to play 4-cost assassin with something else, they can do that too. So it's that's coming. It's I don't want to say a date or a number or a due date or anything, but that is my top priority, top goal right now. I guess the last thing that I'll say in regards to that is we're going to post one more tutorial video and start to really reach out and advertise and try to get, I really want to get these games happening between gamers. I want to, find the communities that I belong to and talk to the different people that I know and really start trying to get people in here to start battling. I mean, this is what I've been waiting for. This is a big moment for me to actually start seeing, a little bit of community feedback on gameplay where they can say, hey, this card's overperforming, or hey, how does this combo work, or hey, what about this? I want to hear that stuff. I really, really want to get there. So be on the lookout for all that. It's close. It's super, super close.
Yeah, excited. And don't be afraid for those who don't know like the personal crew. Don't be afraid to ping in Discord.
Oh yeah,
and be like, hey, who wants to play? Because I guarantee you, if a lot of us have even like a remotely like 30 minutes to an hour of just random free time, we'll fire up TTS and start battling. So
I will.
don't be afraid to play.
I will put Jake Trollber on the spot right now and be like, I'll just say it. I know that he really likes to play the game, but he has played 90% plus of his matches against me, and I'm not going to brag, but I win a pretty high percentage of my matches. I kind of invented the whole freaking thing.
I know Jake's raging right now behind his keyboard.
Jake struggles to like take a bunch of L's in a row, and he doesn't bounce back that well. Not to say that you guys are going to win or lose against Jake, but he doesn't. He complains that it's not fair that he only gets to play the creator, of the game all the time. So that man will be sitting there waiting to play a game. So yeah, get in here, start pinging people. Rules questions, that type of stuff. If you ever have any issues, a couple of us who have been playing for a real long time and stuff will be available and all that. So. Yeah, be on the lookout for all that. I mean, those are the next steps. We're coming. It's gonna be real fun. But
Absolutely.
Other than that, I think we can kind of close it off right there.
Good ending.
I really appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Appreciate all the support on Patreon and everybody. It's been awesome so far. We've only been at this for about 2 months now, and really great.
Well, this is month 2, right?
Yeah, we're
November 1st was the first month officially on Patreon.
Yeah.
Like you started in October, but like month 1 was in everything really took off.
Yep.
Or day 1. Yep.
But I mean, this is also like our 5th stream, so I guess however you want to perceive it. But yeah, we're in our 2nd month, and we're making the push. So again, thank you to everybody for coming to the stream tonight. Pretty good attendance. A lot of people in here checking it out. Those of you here, anybody who's catching us on YouTube on the back half, again, if you check us out on Patreon, Facebook, obviously we found the YouTube channel, Instagram, we've got all the social media accounts up. So thank you again.
Maybe soon a Twitter.
Yeah, well, I have the Twitter. I just don't necessarily know how to tweet, but we're gonna work on that. Thanks again, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.